Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Okay, so if we all take our seats to begin, thank you. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for coming today. We have a very interesting topic to discuss with our highly esteemed speakers for today. In honor of International Women's Day this month, which was March 8th, our title for today's panel is Women and STEM Education in Egypt and the U.S. Stepping into a Man's World of Science and Technology. Before we commence with this event, kindly allow me to introduce myself and the department behind this event in principle, the Prince Walid Center for American Studies and Research, as well as our collaborative partners today, before introducing our wonderful speakers for today's panel discussion, along with a few words and facts about today's topic. My name is Ismin Ghazali. I'm the Assistant Director and Adjunct Faculty at the Prince Walid Center for American Studies and Research, CASAR, at the School of Global Affairs and Public Policy here at UC. It's lovely to see you all. The Prince Walid Center for American Studies and Research, CASAR, was established in 2003 by His Royal Highness Prince Walid bin Talal after the tragic events of 9/11 in the U.S. This center is one of 6 around the world. We have 2 centers in the U.S., Harvard University and Georgetown, and 2 centers in the U.K., Edinburgh and Cambridge. We also have another center at AUB in Beirut, Lebanon. All 6 centers were founded by Al Walid Philanthropies to deepen the understanding of the United States and its relationship with the Middle East and North Africa and MENA region by a variety of outreach and academic programs within each center and program. At CASAR AUC, we aim to present a nuanced view of American involvement in the region. To do so, the center supports a high-quality academic program where we have multiple undergraduate courses cross-listed with several departments across AUC, including the core curriculum department deliberating American politics and American culture, either separately or comparatively with Egypt and the MENA region. The center also caters to a minor in American Studies, which I highly encourage you to take a look at in the updated AUC catalog. At CASAR, we engage in a wide variety of outreach and educational programs, including hosting seminars, roundtable discussions, and public lectures, like today's lecture, thus making available a broad range of opportunities for the AUC community and to highlight the usefulness of American Studies to the students of diverse interests and career intentions. CASAR is very proudly run by Professor Dr. Mark Dietz, the Center Director and Assistant Professor at the History Department as well, who's here as well. For this event, we are very happy to be collaborating with the Tomorrow's Leaders Gender Scholarship Program at AUC, where the students apply a gender lens to their areas of study and engage in civil engagement activities, pursue professional development opportunities, and give back to their communities. This program is a joint effort between AUC, the U.S. Department of State, and the Bureau of Near Eastern Affairs. It grants a 1-year scholarship to current AUC students who have leadership potential and are interested in studying and incorporating gender across academia, as well as the public and private sectors. As part of their initial activities every year, students engage in team-building exercises, introduction to gender studies, and discussions about emotional intelligence and types of leadership. In addition to exploring gender themes, the program also connects students to different networking opportunities, such as attending international and national conferences, where they can engage in a wider community of specialists. It also gives them a chance to interact with civil society organizations working in the field of social development with a gendered lens. We're very happy to partner with the School of Science and Engineering at AUC, of course, and the Public Diplomacy Section at the U.S. Embassy in Cairo for this event, as well as the Fulbright Commission in Egypt. Our topic today asks many questions that I'm confident through the amazing stories our panelists have for us today will provide the most enlightening answers to. Despite a plethora of advances made by women in the world we live in today, they are still globally woefully underrepresented in the realm of science, technology, engineering, and math education and associated career paths. We are here to talk about the history, reasons, challenges women face in both countries as they embark on STEM education and career paths in both countries with our esteemed panelists. We would like to ask the following questions, hoping to find their answers in today's discussion. Why is STEM still unpopular with women compared to men? How different the journeys can sometimes be for both genders embarking on STEM education and career paths, and why does it differ, or does it even differ at all? How does culture play a role in dictating the path of this journey for both genders? Do social stereotypical gender roles have a part to play in this journey? How can the general hardships in STEM career paths reach an equilibrium for both genders who wish to pursue career paths in STEM? Can gender equality be achieved in STEM representation in both countries? What are the recommendations for that to happen? Before I introduce our esteemed speakers for today, let me briefly give you a breakdown of our graduate and undergraduate enrollment headcount segregated by gender in the different majors for the past 3 years, at the School of Science and Engineering here at AUC. Baby. So as you can see, for the graduate students, the females surpassed by 26%, and from fall 21 steadily until fall 23. You have them surpassing at the graduate level. However, for the undergraduate students, it's the other way around. You have the males surpassing by almost 15 to 60% from 21 till 23. And that is a majority, that's the head count generally, regardless of major. Now, here are the majors. This is really interesting. Let me see if I could put this clearly. Okay, so in the field of actuarial science, which is the discipline that assesses financial risks in the insurance and finance fields using mathematical and statistical methods, females were surpassing them, but then the males took over only in 24. Architectural engineering, you have females consistently surpassing. Same for biology, chemistry, but then it kind of switches. Computer engineering, you have males consistently surpassing, and look at the numbers here. Same thing for males in computer science, construction engineering, and it's almost over double. You have males surpassing almost over double. Data science, you have the same thing, and also electronics, communication engineering, you have also males surpassing over double here. And mathematics, same thing. Mechanical engineering, again, over double. You've got males surpassing over double. This is consistently for the past 3 years. And petroleum engineering, the same thing, over double. And physics, also you have males surpassing. So as you can see, as per major, only 3 or 4 majors have females surpassing, but then the rest of the majors are dominated by males in significant numbers. This is just a brief overview on the numbers that we have here at AUC. As you can see, the numbers are really interesting here at AUC. To help us answer these questions and more, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our panelists for today before I give them the floor to speak. We are very proud and delighted to have Dr. Hanedi Salim serve on this panel today. Dr. Hanedi is the chair of the Mechanical Engineering Department and the chair of the University Senate. She received her bachelor's and master's degree in material science and engineering, both from AUC, then received her PhD in mechanical engineering with a specialization in materials and manufacturing from Texas A&M University in the US. Dr. Hanedi is also the founder of the Nanotechnology Master's Program at AUC and has served as the program director for 5 years since September 2010. She is one of 4 founders of the Yusuf Jameel Science and Technology Research Center, and was appointed the Associate Director for Fundraising and External Funding at the center from 2007 to 2008. Dr. Hanedi is also the co-founder of the PhD program in Applied Science Engineering and a co-founder of the Biology's Master's Program at AUC. She has research collaborations with a large number of public universities and provides multiple research and academic services to national universities as well as internationally in the US, Canada, and Europe. Dr. Hanedi's research currently focuses on powder and wire feed additive manufacturing using selective laser manufacturing. She is the founder and director of the Additive Manufacturing Centennial Lab, the AMCL. She established the first wire arc additive subtractive manufacturing integrated robotic system in Egypt, Africa, and the Middle East. Dr. Hanedi Salim was awarded the Excellence in Research and Creative Endeavors at the AUC Level Award and School of Sciences Engineering Service Achievement Award. Dr. Hanedi, it's truly an honor to have you join us today with such an incredible, impressive bio, which I only read part of. Undoubtedly, your journey is an inspiration to all of our audience, especially the students who chose STEM career paths. Welcome, Dr. Hanedi. Thank you. We also have the pleasure of hosting Dr. Anna Lichtenberger. Dr. Lichtenberger holds a PhD in biology, and she's also a professor at Barry University in Miami Shores, Florida, in the US. During her current sabbatical, she's teaching and doing research as a Fulbright scholar and visiting professor at AUC in the Department of Biotechnology. She received her PhD in neuroscience from the University of Miami, Florida, and she attended as a Mark Doctoral Fellow. Welcome, Dr. Lichtenberger. We're delighted to have you join us today as well. Certainly, last but not least, we have the exceptional engineer May Fawzi with us today. May Fawzi, a trailblazing graduate from the Faculty of Engineering, Shobra, Banha University, with a major in mechanical engineering, class of 2006, has shattered gender norms as one of Egypt's pioneering female car mechanics. May is the founder and CEO of May the Mechanic. She is a pioneer in her field, making her among the first female car mechanics in Egypt. Her passion for automobiles drives her to provide top-notch car maintenance and repair services, along with engaging workshop sessions at her very own workshop in Gistus Suisse, Heliopolis. May's remarkable achievement lies in being the sole female owner of a car mechanics workshop in an area traditionally dominated by men. Her dedication and expertise are an inspiration to all. May Fawzi, the remarkable car mechanic, doesn't stop at breaking barriers in the automotive world. In addition to her mechanical skills, she's also a creative force. May is currently developing a captivating cartoon show centered around cars, bringing her passion for automobiles to a whole new audience. Furthermore, May's entrepreneurial spirit extends beyond the workshop. She has ventured into the exciting realm of car exports, bridging the gap between Europe and Egypt. Her dedication to the automotive industry knows no bounds, and her journey continues to inspire others. May Fawzi truly exemplifies the power of determination and passion, proving that there are no limits to what a trailblazer can achieve. Welcome, May. It's an honor to have you, dear. Okay. I'd like to give the floor to Dr. Hanedi to begin. Thank you.
You hear me well? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Yasmin. Wait, it's fixed. Okay. Thank you, Yasmin, for this extensive introduction. And I'm really proud being among such very highly pioneered women in STEM. This is really a great honor. Today, I stand before you to shed light on a topic that is of utmost importance: women in STEM education, drawing a comparison between the landscape in Egypt and in the United States. It is with great honor. Okay. It is with great honor that I address you, grateful and for the opportunity to share my experience. I feel truly blessed to be part of the mechanical engineering department family at AUC and to be a member of the broader AUC community. Reflecting on my journey from my time as a student to where I am today, spanning several years as both as undergraduate and graduate student, and now as a faculty member, it is clear that numerous pivotal moments and decisions have shaped my career path in ways that I've never imagined. In both Egypt and the United States, science and engineering has historically been dominated by men. However, in recent decades, we have witnessed a significant shift, a gradual but powerful emergence of women in this field. The evolution marks not just a change in statistics, but also a fundamental transformation in societal perception and opportunities. At the US, over the past years, the US has made significant shifts to promote gender equality in STEM education and employment. Policies advocating the equal opportunities, coupled with rise in movements like Women in STEM, have fostered an environment where women are increasingly encouraged to pursue careers in traditionally male-dominated fields. Nevertheless, still disparities persist. Women continue to face a barrier such as unconscious bias, workplace discrimination, and a lack of representation in leadership positions. These obstacles hinder the full realization of the women potential in STEM. In Egypt, despite facing cultural and societal barriers, Egyptian women are breaking the stereotypes and pursuing careers in science and engineering. Initiatives like the Women in Science Excellence Award and various STEM-focused educational programs are really empowering to our Egyptian female in females in the sciences area and engineering, of course. An important challenge is the influence of the cultural norm, which often dictate traditional gender role and expectations, influencing our young women perception of suitable careers. In the Egyptian society, there is a prevailing belief that the engineering profession is not for women, it's only suitable for men. Such gender norms and misperceptions and usually discourage women from considering careers in male-dominated fields like STEM. Although this was the common belief when I joined engineering at AUC, my parents didn't see it this way. They have in fact encouraged me to join an engineering program. Having said that, as a high school student, you would be surprised to know that engineering was not the discipline I saw for my future. I, in fact, at that time was infatuated with pharmacy. I loved chemistry, so I wanted to join pharmacy. However, circumstances led me to enroll in the material science and engineering program at AUC, which ultimately transformed my life, aspirations, and my plans altogether. Throughout my education, I cherished every moment, thanks to the dedicated scholars who taught me and the wonderful colleagues I had. Upon graduation, despite being a material science and engineering major, I struggled, unfortunately, to find a job in a related field because at the time, they didn't really understand what does a material science and engineering graduate would do. And for them, the only place I would be able to work in or at is a steel manufacturing company or an aluminum manufacturing company, which I was ready to do. I was fully for it. Unfortunately, they did not accept that. They saw me, no way a woman can stand in a production line where it's all made out of or with a lot of men working there. It's a harsh environment. No, you can't work there. This prompted me to pursue postgraduate studies because I refused to work in any other discipline. Starting with my master's degree in material science at AUC, and after earning this degree, I searched again for industrial career in the field. And again, I was unsuccessful. I decided to pursue my PhD. So you see how things go? At that time, and at that point, I was married with 2 children, which was enough to keep me busy with no room for any other activity. However, with the support of wonderful, supportive, and encouraging husband and parents, I am here today representing women in STEM. Despite my initial inclinations towards the industrial practical career, my dedication to my specialization fueled my determination to pursue an academic career. I joined PhD program in mechanical engineering in Cairo University. My experience wasn't that good. Again, there is a difference in culture. Being an AUC graduate and it wasn't really a good experience. Then accordingly, I decided to, after 2 years of hard work, to apply for a PhD at US. I was selected among the last cohort receiving a fellowship in Peace Treaty. This fellowship was only for data collection for 1 year. At the time, I was the only PhD student in mechanical engineering. I spent the year there working on my PhD in Cairo University, that was registered in Cairo University. And at the same time, I got enrolled internally as a student in a PhD program at Texas A&M. I pursued the work of both PhDs for a whole year. This is when I had to come back to Egypt. This was devastating and grieving for me. Just because I was the only female in the PhD program in mechanical engineering, I received an extension, thanks God, to complete my PhD at Texas A&M. Then at that time, I received a full fellowship from Texas A&M to pursue my PhD until I graduated. My faculty supervisors and graduate students, student colleagues at Texas A&M were very supportive. Yet, because of my veiling, I was bullied by other students on campus, especially the cadets, and on the streets, the worst of which was the technical staff in the department who were very intolerant with me being a Muslim woman in engineering. None of this hindered me from achieving my targets. I completed my PhD in 3.5 years. This is when I decided to come back to allow my husband, who joined me during this journey, to pursue his career as a dentist. Returning back to Egypt, I was offered a full-time assistant professor in the mechanical engineering program at AUC, making the beginning of a challenging yet rewarding journey. As being the first female assistant professor appointed among scholarly tenured professors in mechanical engineering, each a pioneer in his representative field, I faced immense pressure to prove myself worthy of this prestigious position. It was indeed a daunting task, but with dedication and support from mentors, as well as my husband and parents, I persevered, and eventually I became the first tenured female associate professor in the entire engineering departments at the School of Sciences and Engineering. I had anticipated that the challenges would diminish with time, being tenured, but the pursuit of excellence became ingrained in my life. While there were tiring moments, the majority of the time I found joy in the journey, especially when it culminated in significant achievements. In my perspective, for an educator, the greatest achievement and greatest moment lies in witnessing the success of her or his graduates. Many female graduates from the mechanical engineering program have gone to achieve remarkable successes in their careers. Some have become general managers, CEOs, and leaders in prestigious organizations. For instance, there is notable example of graduates who became CEOs of the Deep Space Initiative. They were making history as the first African women in NASA based in USA. Others have excelled in global roles, such as serving in Gillette Global Blooming, external manufacturing groups directors at P&G, also procurement managers for external supply at Nestle. Furthermore, some of them has taken on significant leadership roles in environmental sustainability, transportation services, and technology companies like Eni, Amazon, Henkel, Schlumberger, and others. In fact, my own daughter graduated with a degree from mechanical engineering and began her career at P&G as a production engineer, leading the production line of Pampers. Despite the demanding nature of her role, which often required working 12-hour shifts from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, she demonstrated exceptional performance. Within just 1 year of employment, she was promoted to Band 2, a testament of her outstanding contribution and dedication to her work. Nothing is impossible. Females can do everything. Accordingly, for the undeclared girls, or those who are thinking about joining STEM, or maybe are not at all thinking about that, I would like to persuade them to join the STEM education and to pursue their careers in that field. Here are some pieces of advice that I will scroll through very quickly. Please explore your interests by taking the time to explore different STEM subjects and disciplines to identify what interests you the most. Seek mentorship. This could be done by connecting with faculty members, advisors, and professionals, and search for a mentor who can really advise you throughout this process or this journey. Develop your skills in critical thinking, problem solving, and quantitative reasoning. Build a supportive network of peers who share your interest in STEM. A career in STEM may come with challenges and setbacks. That's the nature of life, and that's the nature of the field. Motivation, persistence, and perseverance are necessary to achieve your goals. Also, my advice to the female students is to actively seek out internships and practical experience related to your field. These opportunities not only enhance technical skills, but also provide valuable insights on the industrial dynamics, workplace culture, and the professional networking. You should approach internships with an open mind, eagerness to learn, and willingness to take on challenges. Be proactive, ask questions, seek feedback, and showcase your abilities. Don't shy from doing this. By following these pieces of advice and taking proactive steps to pursue your interest in STEM, you can embark on a rewarding and fulfilling journey towards your successful career. Together, let us celebrate the contributions of women in STEM, not just today, but every day as we work towards a more inclusive and equitable society for all. Thank you very much.
This was very inspiring, Dr. Hanedi. Very, very inspiring. Thank you very much for that. The floor now goes to Dr. Anna Lichtenberger. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. So thank you for having me. It really is a pleasure to be here with you today. And certainly it's a tall order to follow Dr. Hannity's amazing story. So today what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you a couple of slides, or maybe more than a couple of slides, but I think that pictures represent a whole bunch of stuff that we otherwise would take a long time to be able to convey. And I'd like to start with the end. And so I'd like to tell you my advice. This is what I have learned through the time that I have gone through my career in STEM. So I'd like to tell you first that I stand here today as a tenure full professor at Barry University. I'm also a recipient of the Fulbright Scholar Award, and I am actually living my dream, being here with you in Egypt. I remember being 10 years old and studying the Nile River and thinking this is something I would never be able to do, and yet here I am. So I am very thankful for the opportunities that I've had. Now, those opportunities that I've had have been really the result of lots of really good mentors, and that's men and women that have helped me in my career. And so my advice is pursue your career, whatever you like. So whatever you want to do, that you wake up in the morning and you say, wow, I'm going to work. That is what you should pursue. And that's what it was for me in the sciences. Certainly seek good mentors, look for support. And so that support takes many, many different roles. One of the things that I would advise you, and also Dr. Hannity told you about, is a spouse. It is very important to have a supporting spouse and supporting family. And that's both for men and women. Your spouse should hopefully be someone that can support you in what you would like to do. And yes, in the STEM, you do have to work harder, absolutely. And there's nights when you don't sleep, and they're studying organic chemistry and all hours of the night. But that's what it is. And if you love it, you'll persevere and you'll continue. One of the things that I also learned when I defended my thesis in 2000 at the University of Miami is grow a thick skin, right? And so people are going to criticize you. When they criticize you and it's constructive criticism, you take it and you learn from it. If it's non-constructive criticism, forget it. Doesn't matter, and let it go. Don't let it bother you for the rest of your life. Right? And so I think that that's important advice for both men and women. And in some cases, could happen, unfortunately, in everywhere, there may be abuse. And so you report the abuse if it's safe to do so. And if not, you seek alternatives. How do you get alternatives? By having a strong support network. And that is a network of your family, your friends, your spouse, if you're married at that time, and colleagues. Colleagues are very, very important also in helping you build this network. So I wanted to tell you a little bit of statistics, not a lot because unfortunately this speaks the same thing that we have been talking about, which is, of course, there's not enough women in STEM. This slide goes back to 1970 in the United States. This is from the US Census Bureau every 10 years. And what you'll see is some of the numbers of women in STEM in the 1970s. And you'll notice, of course, they're low. They're all low, less than 20%. What you'll see through the decades is that the numbers then are increasing. So it's great, right? It's hopeful, it's wonderful. You'll see some of the social sciences, for example, women have surpassed men in the field. And this would be so these are workers that are already in the field after obtaining a PhD. You'll notice that in the mathematical workers and life and physical sciences, primarily physicians at about 50% in the United States that are women. In the biological sciences, in the laboratories, just a little bit less. But you'll see that computer workers or computer engineers, and engineers in particular, continues to be low. And so the last number that you'll see in that chart is 2019, which is very similar to what we see today. And so if we just compare, for example, in 1970s, we'll put all of this STEM together, it's about 8%. So 8% of women were in STEM in the 1970s. And again, if we put all of the different fields in STEM for women, it's about 25% today. And so you'll say, well, great strides have been made. Okay, that's wonderful. But what about salaries? So when you take a look at salaries, you're going to see that there's still a very large gap. Women are still making only 84% of what men make. And in the United States, you cannot talk about women in STEM without talking about minorities in STEM. And so if you take a look at the chart, which we're not going to go through it, but I just want to show you the highlights, you'll see that a Hispanic woman, for example, makes, let's say, in STEM about $57,000, while an Asian man makes $103,000, right, for the same job. And so essentially, Hispanic women are making about 50% of what an Asian man is doing in STEM. So where are some of the problems? And so I highlighted them here in red. Are there not enough women studying STEM? Yes, that is one of the problems. And so we know educationally we have to go back. Actually, the studies that we have to go back to third grade. And I think that some of the cartoons that Maya is going to develop were going to be very useful so that girls very early on and boys identify women in roles of that are traditional male roles. Are there not enough women persisting after graduation? Yes, in part. And so some women, after they graduate, they do not persist. And so maybe for different reasons, they go into other fields. One may be salary. Maybe you decide you want to make a bigger salary doing something else. And so not enough women are persisting. Are there not enough women staying in the job? Yes, in part. And in part is salary. In part may also be harassment that women may be being exposed to. So the next slide, what I wanted to show you is what has become called the leaky pipeline for education. And the leaky pipeline for education, what it means is that there's a number of women that are graduating at the bachelor's degree, but you'll notice that it gets smaller and smaller, the percentage of women that continue towards a PhD. And I just circle in there for you. So if we look at the PhD students that do in STEM that continue to become employees is about 28%, with women about graduating from the bachelor's degree at about 50%, right? So at the bachelor's degree, women are being educated, but as you continue through the pipeline, that number decreases quite a bit. And I wanted to also show you the numbers for underrepresented minorities in the United States. That number is much, much smaller. So 4.8% of the women who are a minority in the United States make up the employees in STEM, right? And so that is actually a really dismal number. So as we take a look at how we got here, I wanted to go back to the 1940s. And so I wanted to show you a couple of posters that actually became iconic. Some of you may recognize their Rosie the Riveter, and so she's right in the middle. In the 1940s, of course, the United States is going through World War II, and the idea is, obviously, all men are going off to war. What happened to the jobs that women traditionally made or did? And so women then start filling those roles. And so the question is, can women do the job of a man? And the answer is absolutely yes. They did it in the 1940s. They did it well. And so in the 1940s, of course, I imagine women coming out of the 1940s figured, okay, so now we're equal to men. But the 1950s come around, and of course, men come back from the war and they want their jobs back. So what happened to Rosie the Riveter? Now she's toasting toast, right? So she's toasting bread. And so women then go back to being housewives. And the expected type of equipment that women were using then, of course, is stoves and refrigerators and all kinds of machinery in the home. So the 1960s and the 1970s in the United States is a time of change. There's a great deal of change that takes place culturally. And you'll notice their Women's Day, that was from the 1960s. And I'll just give you a very, very brief uh, introduction of some of the things that women couldn't do in the 1960s. That was not that long ago, right? And so women could not get a credit card on their own without the signature of their husband or their father. Women could not participate in jury duty. Women could not maintain their job if they got pregnant. So if you got pregnant, it was legal to fire you, and then you, of course, will not be able to hold your job. And of course, equal pay for equal work. That still, unfortunately, is still to this day something that has not changed. And so these, I'm not going to go through all of it, but these are some of the acts and laws that were enacted between 1961 and 1994. These are not all of the ones, of course, that were enacted, but I picked some highlights of some of the ones that were extremely important, particularly 1964 and the Civil Rights Act. You'll notice that the Civil Rights Act is for equality, not just between men and women, but also equality in the basis of religion and also in the basis of nationality, as well as color. So if we move on now then to more or less, if we jump now to 1990 and 2000, I want to go back here just to show you this is the time when I am going through my PhD. So at this time, of course, women think we can do it all. We can do everything, right? So we can have spouses and children and a career and everything else we want. The reality, of course, fortunately, I didn't look at the statistics back then, but the reality is we're thinking we can do it all. What I can tell you as an advice today for both men and women, it is possible to do it all as a couple. So if both men and women share the financial responsibility of the home, they share the raising of the children, and they share the tasks of the home, then it is possible to do it. So as I'm going through my PhD, I was fortunate to get a fellowship that paid for my PhD. And so essentially I went into a program where I was one of two students accepted for that year, and I was the only one that persisted through the PhD. Fortunately for me, with my fellowship, I was able to go to the university and say, this is money that was through the Congress of the United States and Mark Fellowship. I was able to go to university and say, this is the money. And so I just want an education. The money is there. And so I was able then, of course, to finish my PhD. So I finished my PhD in 2000. And then I continue. What I wanted to do is I wanted to teach. I love to teach. I love science. And so I wanted to continue in academia. And so I wanted to show you a little bit of the statistics of women in academia. So of course, STEM faculty in non-tenure positions is 34% in women. If you take a look at Latino or Hispanic women, it's 2%. I am considered Latino or Hispanic. I was born in Guatemala, and my family immigrated to the United States when I was 13 years of age. So I do belong to an ethnic minority in the United States. Black women is about 1.5%. Now, if you look at tenure positions, women have 28% of the tenure track positions in STEM. And if you go down to, for example, some of the minorities, 1.3% for Hispanic, 1.4% for Black women. And so obviously there is a great disparity still there. So in all disciplines, 36% of full professors are women, still a 20% gap at the higher pay for administrators. And so what do we do now, right? And so what we are hopefully doing now is continuing to have awareness, panels like what we're doing today, sharing the information, letting everyone know about the disparity, and of course, letting students know what are some of the pitfalls to avoid to be able to be successful. Financial resources, federal and private. At the end, if you are interested, at the end of the presentation, have some links if any of you are interested in looking at some of the scholarships in the United States. And the Fulbright also has some scholarships for Egyptian students in the United States if you're interested. So the STEM education K through 12 is also extremely important, and scholarships to higher education. So what you'll see there is a advertisement for tenure track faculty, and you'll notice that, of course, is a white man that is in the picture. And so it is important, obviously, to be aware of some of these statistics, and hopefully we will be able then to change that in the United States as well as in Egypt. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for that very much, Dr. Lichtenberg. It's really, really entertaining. The numbers do speak louder than words, most definitely. Thank you for that. Okay, and I give the floor now to Engineer Mai.
هلو أنا هتكلم بالعربي، هيكون بالنسبة لي مريح أكتر، لأن أعتقد الكلام اللي هقوله هيكون غريب شوية، لأن أنا اللي فهمته إن لحد دلوقتي لسه في اضطهاد للبنات في المجتمع، وده بالنسبة لي أنا متفاجئة بيه بصراحة، لأن أنا اتعودت أعمل اللي أنا عايزاه بدون النظر لأي آراء أو أي حد ممكن يكون ليه رأي مختلف، لأن في الأول في الآخر دي حاجتي أو حياتي اللي أنا تقريبا 80% هعيشها من شغلي بعملها. عايزة أقول إن أصعب حاجة مش المجال الميكانيكا، طبعا أنا مجالي ممكن يكون غريب شوية لأن أنا غاوية أصلح بإيدي العربيات والبايكس كمان، ودي بالنسبة لي هواية أكتر من شغل، بس اتفاجئت بعد كده إن أنا أقدر أقدمها شغل وأقدر أقدمها محتوى تعليمي مش بس للبنات، للأطفال كمان. يعني حاليا أنا بنفذ الأنيميشن، بعمل فيلم أنيميشن من خلاله هوصل التجربة من بدايتها لنهايتها، وإزاي نقدر نتعامل مع العربية، وإزاي أصلا بنت تكون في المجال ده بتقابل مضايقات من نوع مختلف. يعني ممكن جدا عميل يبقى جاي مع عميلة ويكون في نوع من أنواع التست، يعني ورينا بتعملي إيه، يعني ورينا بقى هتعملي إيه. خلينا نقول من البداية كانت الصعوبة في إيه؟ الصعوبة في إن أنا أعرف أصلا أنا عايزة إيه. يعني أنا شايفة إنه أي حد هي دي بالنسبة له هتبقى المشكلة، إنه هو يبقى عارف هو فعلا عايز المجال ده أو عايز يشتغل في الجزء ده ولا لأ. مش الصعوبة في إن هو يكمل، هيلاقي كده كده صعوبة في أي مجال. أنا شايفة إن البنت بتقابل صعوبة في أيا كانت الشغلانة اللي هي بتعملها. فإن أعرف أنا عايزة إيه هو ده كان البداية. أما كنت في الجامعة أنا بدأت الكارير في سنة رابعة، وأنا في الجامعة وأنا بدرس كان في ورشة جنب الجامعة عندي، وأنا كنت بطلع عشان أشوف هل أنا حابة ده ولا لأ، لأن أنا ميكانيكا باور مش سيارات. فبالتالي أنا اشتغلت في مصانع أثناء دراستي وده ما كنتش حباه خالص. فأول ما اتأكدت إن أنا عايزة أكمل في العربيات، أنا بدأت من هنا ما بصش لكل الظروف اللي ممكن تكون موجودة، سواء من أهل، سواء من مجتمع، سواء من صعوبة المجال نفسه خصوصا في البداية. فكملت، كانت بدايتي خالص في الجامعة. لما كملت كانت النتيجة إن من 2006 من ساعة ما اتخرجت ل 2018 اشتغلت في 3 توكيلات متتالية لأكبر براند مرسيدس، 3 توكيلات مرسيدس، والثلاثة منافسين لبعض. يعني انا تقريبا مش البنت اللي اشتغلت او عملت الجزء ده، او ان هي اشتغلت في 3 شركات او 3 توكيلات مختلفين. انا تقريبا المهندسه او المهندس، يعني ما فيش ولد حتى عمل كده، ودي ما كانتش مقصوده. والحاجه اللي انا ممكن اقولها لاي حد سواء بقى بنت او ولد او ايا كان، ان هو ما يدورش على ان هو يتدخل نفسه في تحدي وهمي. يعني انا مش عايزه اثبت ان انا احسن من الراجل، لان دي حاجه ما تعنيش باي حاجه. انا عايزه ابقى مستريحه، يعني انا عايزه ابقى عايشه مستريحه، بعمل حاجه بحبها، حاجه انا بقضي فيها معظم يومي، فبقى انا مبسوطه وانا بعملها. حاجه دي مضايقه الناس، مش ما يعنيش، مش مشكله. مضايقه اهلي. اهلي في البدايه كانوا معارضين تماما، ولكن هم دلوقتي فخورين بيا جدا. فاعتقد ان انا لو كنت من البدايه سمعت كلام اللي حواليا دلوقتي، ما افتكرش ان هم كانوا هيبقوا فخورين بيا، وانا ما كنتش هبقى مستريحه. خليني اقول برضو ان انا من 2018 لحد دلوقتي، ايه اللي انا اتعلمته بقى من 2006 ل 2018 اني اعمل اللي انا عايزاه. في 2018 سبت التوكيل تماما، وقررت اني عمري ما هشتغل في شركه تاني. انا هشتغل لان كنت حاسه اني زي الطفل اللي متكتف قاعد على كرسي ومتكتف. اول بيزنس عملته بعد ما خرجت من الشركات كان استيراد قطع غيار. ودي برضو كانت شغلانه غريبه، لاني كنت بوزع للتجار. يعني ده برضو بيئه صعبه شويه، لانك تتعامل مع 3 فئات مختلفه: فئه العميل، فئه الصناعي، فئه التاجر. فيمكن دي صعوبة المجال عندي، والأصعب إنك دايما محطوط، أو يعني أنا كست محطوطة تحت إنه الغلطة ب10. يعني ممكن لو راجل مكاني وغلط تمام، بس لو أنا غلطت لا مش تمام، ما هتتقال عشان أنتي مش حتتك، أو أنتي أصلا أنتي إيه اللي دخلك المجال ده. في 2018 اشتغلت لحد كورونا، وكنت بجهز نفسي ودرست embedded system على أساس إني هسافر أكمل في ألمانيا وأدخل في جزء التصنيع. فدرست ألماني ودرست عملت الدبلومة للآخر، ولكن كورونا جت وقفت الشغل ووقفت الدراسة ووقفت كل حاجة ووقفت كل التخطيطات اللي جاية. فأنا مؤمنة تماما إن الأقدار دي خير، تماما خير. يعني لو أنا في الجامعة كنت رحت مصانع وكنت اشتغلت شغل مش بحبه، ما كنتش عرفت إن أنا بحب العربيات. فلما الدنيا وقفت أيام كورونا، عملت مصنع، فتحت مصنع، لان هو ده اللي كان قدامي. يعني ده ما فيش حطيت كل فلوسي في المصنع، وخسرت خسارة فادحة. يعني خسرت تقريبا كل فلوسي، حتى كان معايا عربيتين بعتهم، اللي معيش فلوس خالص تماما. وبدأت من البداية خالص. الصورة اللي فوق البايك دي كانت بعد ما قررت ان انا اقفل المصنع، اشتريتها وكنت بروح اخد من العميلة العربية بتاعتها واروح اصلحها لها وارجعها لها تاني، لان ما كانش عندي حتى ورشة ولا عندي اي مكان. دي كانت أول حاجة بعد أزمة كورونا بحوالي 2 سنين. وبعدين قررت إن أنا هعمل الشغل. كان كويس جدا. دايما لما بتعمل حاجة بتحبها بجد مش كلام، بتبقى مستريح وكمان بتنجح والفلوس بتيجي. بعد المرحلة دي عملت المركز اللي أنا عاملاه دلوقتي. المركز ده مركز متكامل، حطيت فيه كل حاجة. يعني بشتغل سمكرة، بشتغل دهان، بشتغل ميكانيكا. ده شغلي دلوقتي. يعني دي بالنسبه لي مش شغل قد ما هو هوايه، ان انا اعمل ابقى عندي مشكله. اعتقد دي فكر المهندس عموما، انه يبقى عنده مشكله ويحاول ان هو يوصل لها لحل. هو بيحب يحل المشاكل. فهي العربيات فعلا متعه وفيها كل حاجه. يعني فيها الكهرباء، فيها الميكانيكا، فيها السوفت وير. من حوالي 1.5 سنة سافرت ألمانيا وقعدت هناك فترة، واكتشفت ان احنا مش ناقصنا اي حاجه غير ان احنا بس نصدق احنا عايزين ايه، عايزين نعمل ده ولا مش عايزين نعمل ده. دلوقتي انا مكمله، وقررت ان الاخير اللي هحط فيه كل الخبرات اللي فاتت هو فيلم الانيميشن اللي انا بنفذه دلوقتي. وده انا هبقى بالنسبه لي مرضيه جدا جدا ان انا وصلت له، لانه ده هيخاطب الاطفال، السيدات، واعتقد الرجاله هتبقى انترستد بيه برضه. نصيحتي بقى للناس او للبنت، انا متفاجئه او بجد ان لسه في حد اصلا بيتدخل في قرار حد، حتى لو الاهل. ان هي تدور على اللي هي بتحبه، حتى لو هتقف في المطبخ تطبخ، هي دي هوايتها، اوكي اعمليها. مالكيش دعوه باراء، مالكيش دعوه بناس، مالكيش دعوه باي حد، بس تعرفي انت عايزه تعملي ايه، مش اكتر من كده. شكرا.
يعني بجد يا مي بشكرك جدا جدا حقيقة يعني، وعلى البرزنتيشن الجميلة وانسبايرنج جدا. يعني بتهيألي أي بنت أو أي واحدة عايزة تعمل أي حاجة حقيقي، يعني ما فيش أحسن من النماذج دي صراحة. The best examples we have today to inspire any woman to or any girl to do anything. I could not find better people to actually have on the panel. Thank you so much. All right, we reached the Q&A session. Does anyone have a question at any point to any of our panelists? If you do, well, that's the time. Okay, well, I have a question. If you were to ask, oh, where? Oh, Dr. Yes, it is. Okay, Madalena, okay. Yeah.
انا ما كانش عندي داعم على فكره، يعني والدي هو كان الداعم، وتوفى وانا في اعدادي هندسه. فانا كنت تماما، انا مامتي عرفت ان انا في ميكانيكا في سنه تانية، وانا اوريدي خلاص دخلت القسم وبدات. معرفش، ممكن تكون بالنسبه لي الاصعب من ان انا اواجه المجتمع او اللي حواليا اللي رافضين حاجه انا عايزاها، ان انا اكمل في حاجه انا مش عايزاها. ده اصعب بالنسبه لي بكتير جدا، لان اكيد مش هبقى مستريحه ومش هريح حد. يعني بدايه من الانسان عشان يقدر ينتج صح، لازم ينتج في الحته اللي هو عايز يعملها او هو حابب او لاقي نفسه فيها. انا كانت مشكلتي ان انا الاقي نفسي بس، مش مشكلتي المجتمع خالص. انا عشان انا اول ما عرفت ان انا هي العربيه الهيكل اللي انا عايزه اشتغل معاه طول حياتي، انا استريحت. بعدها واجهت نوع تاني من المشاكل. انا اتقالت لي صريحه ما ينفعش تشتغلي عشان انتي بنت، وكان ردي انتوا ما حددتوش، انتوا عايزين مهندسين، ما قلتوش بنت او ولد. فوقتها اخدت الفرصه بشكل غريب جدا، واترفضت من شركه مرتين بسبب ان انا بنت. وبعد سنتين من 2006 ل 2008 كنت في توكيل. بعد سنتين هم نفس الشركه اللي رفضتني مرتين كلمتني في التليفون لانها سمعت عن شغلي وقالت لي احنا محتاجينك معانا. فانا شايفه انه ممكن يكون المجتمع اصعب، بس مش اصعب من ايامي. يعني انا من 2006 على فكره الموضوع كان اصعب بكتير من دلوقتي بنشوف بنات في المجال، ولكن الصعوبه في ان انا اكمل في حاجه انا مش لاقيه نفسي فيها هتبقى يعني اكبر بمراحل. انا كنت وصلت لمديره قسم في التوكيل، ولكن شغل اداري بحت، بقت ممنوعه ان انا انزل الورشه. ففضلت يعني نظريا او من بعيد اللي يشوف يقول لا، ده انت ازاي تسيبي المكان ده وازاي تطلعي البهدله دي. بس انا مستريحه دلوقتي، انا بعمل اللي انا ما كنتش اتخيل اللي انا كنت هعمله. يعني فيلم الانيميشن ده بالنسبه لي هو البيبي بتاعي على فكره. ممكن يكون حاجه بعيده تماما عن الميكانيكا، ولكن انا مش مصدقه ان انا كمان عملت ده. انا كنت نفسي اعمله، بس اللي هو من ما بتكمل في الطريق بتاعك تلاقي نفسك وصلت للحاجه اللي انت ما كنتش متخيل انك هتعملها. فالمجتمع انا مش مديه له حجم، مش مديه لاراء الناس بصراحه اي حجم، مصغراها جدا. انا مديه الحجم للي انا عايزاه، ايه اللي انا ممكن اكون لاقيه نفسي فيه، بس مش اكتر من كده. او ايه اللي مش إيه اللي امتى اقول انا همشي، امتى اقول انا هكمل. بس ده اللي اعتقد لازم نشغل دماغنا بيه. انما رأي الناس في الاول في الاخر احنا مش هنعجب حد، ده طبيعي، هيبقى فيه معانا وهيبقى فيه ضدنا.
Very impressive الحقيقة. يعني I'd love to see the animation that you're preparing, and يعني definitely هو يعني it's going to be a very strong impact على ال STEM students قبل ما يدخلوا الجامعة. It will be very influential. So if you can share the link with us, I'd love to have that. Especially it still hits on mechanical engineering. بس I see your point, Dr. Yasser. أنا بيجيلي طلبة until this moment, بنات females at the beginning of the declaration, and they are struggling with their parents. They would like to join mechanical engineering, and the parents do not agree with them. And they sit with me, they bring their parents, they change their minds sometimes, but many other times they don't. I give them examples, but it's the culture understanding. Mechanical engineer, the راجل, cannot be a female. But yes, I see your point. Until 2024, unfortunately, yes.
You are strong, you are passionate, you want to do what but not everybody is that. I don't think that all the women need to be in this.
ممكن يكون يعني انا بالنسبه لي انا مش قويه، انا مش شايفه نفسي قويه، يعني انا شايفه نفسي مش حاطه نفسي في حرب. يعني انا مش شايفه مش عارفه، بس انا شايفه نفسي مش حاطه نفسي في حرب ما اهلك طاقتي على الفاضي. انا بهلك طاقتي على اللي انا عايزه اعمله بس. وده بياخد مني مجهود كبير على فكره، يعني ان انا بقى مستريحه ده بياخد مني مجهود كبير. خليني اقول من البدايه دي انا كل خطوه كانت بتقول لي كملي. من بدايه الشركه اللي كلمتني وقالت لي تعالي، والخطوه اللي انا في الصوره اللي فيها البايك دي باين ان انا مبسوطه، بس انا كنت مفلسه، حقيقي كنت مفلسه. كان معايا عربيتين وبعتهم وحالتي كانت صعبه جدا. خليني اقول لك دلوقتي بعمل تماما الحمد لله اللي انا عايزه اعمله. فده اعتقد يعني يخلي اي حد يفكر انه رأي الناس ده مش حاجة. انا بسمع لحد دلوقتي، انا عارفة، بس مش شكرا. يعني مش هقدر اقول حاجة، مش هقدر اغير حياتي عشان بني ادمين.
عايزة أقول حاجة كمان صغيرة، إنه I don't see it so here, it's not small. إنه ours the first employed graduates from mechanical engineering are females. Yani if we have a cohort of 70 students graduating, and out of them we have 10 females, those 10 females get letters of employment first before the males. And this is something we are bragging about. It's a fact, it's based on statistics, and I think this makes a lot of difference. It's just the culture needs to be changed.
Mr. Mohammed, okay, Madalena, can you please just take the, there you go, thank you. Oh, okay.
شكرا.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, I'm actually curious about if this happens at AUC and if you have students coming in with their parents to ask about mechanical engineering, I wonder what is the case in Egyptian universities?
I think it's different. Maybe Dr. Yasser can comment on this more than I am. But I think in engineering, I'm not sure about mechanical engineering in specific, but engineering programs, they have large numbers of females, which is really interesting. This discrepancy of a male versus female is not really significant as we see here at AUC. Am I right or wrong, Dr. Yasser? Oh, yes.
I think you see the same thing in both Egyptian.
Really? Okay,
Like
all right.
architecture is
Usually female oriented, yes.
female. Civil, more or less, mechanical, no go. Chemistry, chemical engineering, chemistry.
It's very interesting, very interesting. Okay, does anyone have any more questions? All right, you have a question? Okay, do you need a microphone? Sure.
أنا شايفة لينك قوية جدا ما بين ال 2 points يعني and I don't think إنه I will fight for anything unless I want to do it and I like it. يعني I will run after my passion, definitely. If there are resistance, I'll do my best to prove myself. Here the point is females, البنات عادة they exert أضعاف الeffort اللي بيعملوا الميل to prove themselves and they are really very reliable and producing. والquality of work is really very high. وده لأن هم مش عايزين يتقال إن الراجل أحسن من الست في الشغل. فهي الفايتنج جاي من كده. أنا I need to prove myself. ده مش معناه إن أنا بعمل حاجة أنا ما بحبهاش. لا definitely أنا بعمل الحاجة اللي أنا بحبها. و sometimes ممكن زي ما بيحصل مع الميلز كمان أي حد ممكن يتحط في situation ما بيحبوش. The point is should I just stop, don't do anything about it? أشتغل وأنا ماليش نفس ولا I do my best, prove myself while searching for ده البرسبشن اللي ممكن يختلف شوية عن مي قالت لا أنا مش هشتغل في ده. لا ممكن حد تاني يقول أنا اتحطيت في الوضع ده I'll do my best وهحاول أشوف المكان التاني during working. فهي it's a combination of things. بس أنا I doubt إن يكون في female or male عشان عايز to prove him or herself بس بإنه يبقى كويس قوي في حاجة هو مش بيحبها. يعني أنا شايفاها صعبة شوية.
هو مش هيكمل، يعني أي حد مش هيقدر يكمل، هو مش هيستحمل. يعني 5 سنين اخره بالكتير قوي لو قدر ان هو يعديهم، وهو لوحده هيلاقي نفسه بيغير اتجاهه. لانك انت بتعملي 80% من يومك في شغلك اعتقد، يعني هو وقت كبير قوي من اللي احنا بنعمله في يومنا شغلنا. فانا ابقى بعمل شغلي وانا مش مستريحه، ده حاجه مؤلمه جدا، وانا عشتها على فكره. عشتها وانا في المجال، بس كنت في مكان ظاهريا كويس قوي بس انا مش مستريحه فيه. فكملت، وعيني كانت على لما الظروف تسمح. انا ام ل3 بنات، فلما الظروف تسمح ان انا خلاص دلوقتي انا اقدر اخد وقت اطول او اكتر، او اخد تجربه ممكن معرفش هتوديني لفين، خدت القرار وسبت الشغل فورا بدون اي تخطيط، وما ندمتش لحظه. يعني عايزه اقول لك انا تعبت كتير، الموضوع مش سهل انك تبقي بتشتغلي بسيستم وبعد كده تشتغلي لوحدك وفي مجال صعب جدا مع بيئة مختلفة، ده مش سهل. بس عمري ما ندمت. ليه؟ مش عشان انا بتحدى، انا عمري ما بخش في تحديات مع حد. عايزه اقول لك التظاهر بالغباء ساعات بيكون كويس قوي. يعني انا وانا طفله كنت بتظاهر ان انا مش شاطره عشان ما حدش يحطني في تشالنج مع الناس عشان اجيب مجموع. كنت بنجح بالعافيه حقيقي لحد ثانويه عامه. لا هم انا اتفاجئت معاهم ان انا جبت وعرفت ادخل هندسه. يعني كنت حاطه في دماغي ان مش لازم اعمل مجهود. تقريبا هي دي بقى، معرفش ده بيبقى في التكوين، بس الحمد لله لو انا يعني من النعم الكبيره اللي بحمد ربنا عليها ان انا كده، يعني ان انا بعمل اللي يريحني بغض النظر عن اي حاجه. وده نفعني بعد كده. يعني اما انا سبت الشغل اهلي اتهموني ان انا انتي طول حياتك بتاخدي قرارات مش طبيعيه. دلوقتي هم بيشجعوني، يعني مامتي بتشجعني جدا، ودي بالنسبة لي أحلى حاجة، لأن هي نفسها اللي كانت ضد أصلا إن أنا أدخل ميكانيكا.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. This is really interesting. مشكور كل الناس اللي معانا على الpanel. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was very inspiring. And I hope to see you in our future events. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.